Hi, welcome back to Celebrating Culture. We're here today at Fontainebleau State Park and I'm with PJ Hahn, who is a wonderful photographer of the state of Louisiana. PJ, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. This is beautiful out here. Great day.
So tell us about your career and how that morphed into the photography you do today.
During the BP oil spill, I was coastal director under Billy Nungesser, who was the parish president at the time of Plaquemines Parish. I was obviously out every day, 24/7, for 4 months out in the water, battling the oil spill, trying to document some of the damage that was happening during the oil spill. Joel Sartori, who's the top photographer with National Geographic, was assigned to me, and he became my mentor in photography. And from there, I started getting stuff published with Reuters, Getty, Associated Press, and finally National Geographic, so it was great.
You've done some calendars for the state.
There's 22 state parks in Louisiana. They had picked 12 state parks for me to go shoot, so I really had a good time. It was like a staycation going around the state, being able to shoot. It was absolutely beautiful.
Louisiana has some amazing state parks.
We have some beautiful state parks. We have world-class state parks.
Let's start at Chimena-Holt State Park.
That place is unbelievable. Probably out of all of the parks, one of my favorite parks. It's got an area, a bayou that runs through there that with some cypress trees that are just amazing to look at. Back years ago, the logging industry that passed through Louisiana probably cut down most of the trees in Louisiana at some point. These trees, they missed for some reason that whole area, that bayou you and I were in. And there's trees in there, cypress trees in there, that are well over 1,000 years old. One of our favorite is what they call the castle. It's probably rated somewhere between 1,100 and 1,200 years old. It's just such an amazing thing to see, and just like you're saying, I mean, it's so unusual to have a tree 1,200 years old still around, and then the design of the tree, they're almost like pieces of art. I mean, when you pull up on them, they're gorgeous.
And that tree is almost 20 feet in diameter.
It's huge when you take a look at that thing. Guarded heavily by mosquitoes, by the way. I tell anybody that mosquitoes and the horseflies. I think that's actually going to be the cover of the calendar. Donated a pint of blood to get that shot.
So as we keep going clockwise, we're at Poverty Point. That's another great park.
Beautiful. Now there's two Poverty Points. One is the Indian Mounds, which if anybody ever gets up there, you really want to go see both. It's absolutely spectacular. Some of the oldest living civilizations on the planet is at Poverty Point. And then there's a Poverty Point section where they actually have cabins. You can rent cabins in a beautiful lake, beautiful body of water, and actually black bears are out there too. I didn't get to see any while I was out there, but a lot of people have told me about them, and there's signs everywhere, watch for black bear.
We go to St. Francisville, and I just love that town.
Beautiful town, beautiful area around there, and a beautiful state park with the Rosedown Plantation home that's out there. They have a series of gardens, all wild flowers that are growing out there, gazebos, and beautiful scenery everywhere.
Now, when you go a little bit further out, you got Oakley Plantation.
Oakley Plantation, Audubon Historical Site, which James Audubon had done a series of paintings there. Actually, 32 of his paintings were done at that plantation, and you can actually see some of the original paintings that are in there now.
And then if you go out, it's only about 10 miles out, is a very large cypress tree.
That's in Cat Island, and that's probably the oldest cypress tree in Louisiana and the largest as well. It's the largest actually in the world.
And then you have Bogachita.
Bogachita was really neat. They actually have the rafting that you can rent rafts and go down the raft. And I actually, for that, I had a drone. I shot some photography as they unloaded a busload of people in rafts coming down the river. Great for horseback riding. They have some wonderful horseback riding through there. There's a lot of places around that will rent horses to you, and it's a great way to see these parks.
And now we're here at Fontainebleau.
This was one of the first parks I shot. It was just amazing because I'd never been to a state park, so this was my first experience. And it's just absolutely beautiful with the beach. We got a gorgeous beach out in front. Beautiful pier with a gazebo.
The sunsets here are great.
Oh, you can't beat the sunset. They were amazing. I sat out and shot a beautiful sunset. In fact, that was what they used for the calendar cover for the 2018 calendar for this park.
And what is Billy doing? I mean, Billy Nungesser has now brought in glamping. What is that?
This is absolutely amazing. It's really something that's new, and leave it to Billy Nungesser to pick up on something that's innovative, something that will draw people into the parks. Glamping is glamorous camping, basically. You have all the creature comforts of home right here in the outdoors, and the way this particular one is set up, you can actually bring a group of your friends out here and really have a great time. I mean, this is very, very beautiful.
And I understand they're going to do this for 8 state parks to begin with, and then perhaps expand it from there.
They are, and they even have one off of a little island over here. So if you really want to be alone and not hear anybody or see any lights or anything, that's the one to go to.
As we keep going through, we have Grand Isle, and that's a unique state park.
It really is. It's actually going to have one of the longest piers in the world, from what I understand. They're adding on to the pier that's out there already. Great fishing. I grew up in the outdoors, and of course all the friends of mine that hang out in the outdoors, I tell them all the time, you go anywhere and fish, but you come to Louisiana if you want to catch fish. So anywhere in Louisiana is great fishing, and that's one of the greatest places to go fishing too.
The next stop would be Tickfaw State Park.
Tickfaw is beautiful because it's actually got the little bridge that goes through the area, little suspension bridge, and it's got the grandma cypress, very unique in that area.
We now go into Fairview.
Fairview, beautiful park with beautiful restaurants, and it's all on a beautiful river that's very unique. It's the moss that's hanging out of the trees there. The colors along the river are just absolutely beautiful.
And they have a swamp path there. I mean, what I see at a lot of our parks is they have these walkways raised up.
That's actually got probably one of the larger walking paths that you can take through the marsh.
And as we continue on our journey, we go out towards Lafayette and we get to Lake Faust State Park, which I love because the cabins there have an Acadiana feel to it.
All these state parks have different types of cabins. That's probably one of my favorite as far as the cabins there, because it does make you feel like you're stepping back in time.
They actually have set up 2 glamping sites on a point.
It makes it very accessible to be able to stay somewhere like that, and especially from a photographer's standpoint, to get out there and go photograph these areas.
And then I actually went to Palmetto State Park recently.
Palmetto, you know, obviously they named it after the palmetto palms. First thing that I picked up on is there's so many everything is palmettos, and even the wooden little ramps that they have the little palmetto wooden ramps decorated with palmettos in there. It's beautiful, beautiful.
They have a children's play area.
That's one of them that has it, is the water playground. The kids can go out there and play.
And they've got a lake there where you can kayak as well.
They do. They have a waterway there that makes for good canoeing and good kayaking.
And Sam Houston State Park.
Sam Houston out by Lake Charles, that place was absolutely beautiful. I saw a lot of wildlife there. I actually saw some deer walk up, and I sat there quietly trying to feed them, and they actually came and ate out of your hand. A lot of the parks have a lot of wildlife that'll come right up to you. I wouldn't recommend people doing that. You got to be careful when you're working with wild animals.
I don't play regular golf too much. I wonder, could I do Frisbee golf?
I know I can't, but you're probably more coordinated than I am. Some of the parks have Frisbee golf, and it's very unique. Basically, it's a little basket out in the middle of the woods, and you have to throw a Frisbee and try to get it into the basket.
Now, Toledo Bend. There's North Toledo Bend and there's South Toledo
There's
Bend.
north and there's south, both beautiful parks.
They said they put in some really great tents on a place called Hippie Point, I believe.
Hippie Point, it's a little peninsula that runs out into the water, so it's a great place.
And there's the bridge right there where you can cross into Texas.
Right, yeah, you're right on the Texas border.
It's a very large reservoir, man-made. You went to North Toledo Bend.
North Toledo Bend was gorgeous, and one of the things that I remember the most about that is the beautiful log cabins. A lot of the cabins there are very well decorated inside, and it's more like a home when you walk in.
As we finished the journey back to the top of the state, Lake Darbin.
That's got a beautiful lake out there, and wonderful fishing too. Very easy accessible areas to, again, canoeing, kayaking. They rent the canoes out there. Beautiful place to go hiking through the trails. They have some beautiful piers that go way, way out into the lake.
They have one for kids where you walk the trail and they got cutouts of the animals.
They have the little skunk, the armadillos, the raccoons, and it's really a cute idea, very clever, where you walk through a very small little trail.
They got a restaurant on the water.
They really have some great places at all the state parks in the immediate area. I would tell anybody that goes out there, do a little research and see what's outside the parks, because there's a lot of really, really good restaurants that don't get the notoriety that New Orleans does on their food, but some of these are world class. All of the places have really first-class cabins. Even the facilities are set up if you have a large group, like a church group or something like that. Most of these campgrounds have huge buildings where you can sleep 30, 40 people with kitchens and everything else, full kitchen.
So our parks have great educational exhibits. In fact, at Tickfaw, they brought out a tortoise so that you can see the animals and what's native there and learn about them.
No doubt about it, and it showcases all the different wildlife and foliage and vegetation at some of these parks and what you can find when you're going through Louisiana. Very popular with groups such as the Boy Scouts of America and the Girl Scouts.
What I do love at the parks, you'll see three generations. You have the young kids, the parents, and the grandparents spending time together.
And it's a great place to bring families out. My families did family vacations and we did the summer vacation. And those are the memories that you'll always remember.
Yes.
You reflect back over time and you think about the things that you enjoyed most in your life. You may not remember a certain place that you went to, but you do remember those parks, and you remember the places and the fun times you had with your family and the bonding that you had with your family.
You've been doing a lot of bird photography. Tell me about some of your special photography.
You know, I've always enjoyed the outdoors and I love shooting wildlife. That's probably my favorite. I've traveled the world taking pictures of all kinds of birds. My daughter is into scuba diving, so we went to the Galapagos Islands. There they have some very unique birds, birds that you'll only see in the Galapagos Islands. Blue-footed boobies and the different types of gulls that they have there is just amazing to see. And of course the Galapagos tortoises. I just enjoy going out and photographing eagles and the different types of birds, especially along the swamps of Louisiana. We're really blessed in the amount of birds. For birders, it's a birder's paradise. 75% of all tropical birds fly through here. The neotropical birds come through here. The spoonbills, what they call the Cajun flamingos, and you see some of those sometimes by the hundreds flying in.
So PJ, if somebody wants to know more and research this, what's the website?
lastateparks.com.
PJ, this has just been phenomenal, and I love working with you. I hope we do a lot more state parks together.
Thank you.
We have such a great variety in Louisiana, so I want to encourage everybody to go visit a state park, even if it's for a day, or if it's with a group in a large cabin or glamping. There's a great way to experience Louisiana. As Billy says, feed your soul. And with that, I'll say we'll be right back with more of Celebrating Culture. Hey, Boo Boo, have you seen Mr. Ranger? I think I see a picnic basket.
Yo! Listen, Mr. Ranger's coming. Let's quick get the basket and the honey and let's go. I see turkey sandwiches. Happy Thanksgiving.